All right, all right, all right. Let's see how we got this going. Let's see if it will. You can see me. Well, hello there, everyone. Happy new and beautiful day. Hope that everyone is having a magnificent day. Oh, it took me a minute to get set up, you guys, but I'm doing it. I am doing it. I am doing it. But I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. And hopefully this will work better today. I'm optimistic. You don't give up, you just keep trying. You dust off and you keep trying. Okay? All right. So hopefully everything is working the way that it's supposed to go, right? And I'm able to do what I need to do. All right. All right. Hi, Mr. Over it on the YouTube side. I'm so YouTube is just marvelous, marvelous, darling, marvelous. It's marvelous. Um, and so I'm grateful. Okay. I am so, so grateful. But you know what? I think I didn't do something, but I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm just gonna leave it alone and just pray that everything works itself out. All right, so here I am. Here we go, and here we are. Welcome, you guys. I finally figured out how to be on my own YouTube so that I can be able to see the comments from my iPad. So hopefully this will work out better than what we were previously doing, and we won't have any idle time as we were before. Okay. All right. So welcome, 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 everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Gratitude for each and everyone's presence. This is the day that we have created as a collective mind. So if you want something different, you have to become what it is that you want to see, be an experience. It's all on you as a divine creator. We're going to be talking about manifesting. I did do a live yesterday that I have yet to put up because there was so much technical difficulties. So I'm going to do a brief rerun of it, but most of what I'm going to talk about today is going to parlay into what I talked about yesterday anyway, to give a more detailed and cohesive sense of understanding about manifestation, right? But yesterday was pretty much about the hi golden sugar, hey beautiful, gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. I'm so divinely grateful, and I'm getting, Instagram so far so good. So I'm grateful. Thank you for being here and welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. So as I was saying, you guys, I'm gonna, integrate it in. And I'm going to bring some of the quantum conceptuals into the mist because, as I've always said, we are energy first. But I wanted to bring some, sense of clarity as to why manifestation seems to work. Well, I should put it this way: desired manifestations, people that desire something and they do affirmations and different things of that nature, seem to work for some, but then it may not work for others. Thank you, Mr. Over it. It may not work for others. Okay, and I'm going to give you my perspective of how I understand my now moment, which means I'm about to do my disclaimers. Okay, whew, this is how I understand my now moment. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do or how to be because I do realize that you are here to create your own relative reality, how you so see fit to do so. So I am not here to tell you what to do. However, I am here to give you my perspective of how I understand my now moment, and to give you guys something to think about for those of you guys that are on the journey of remembering in the essence of awakening. in hopes that what I speak here is the pure tone that will help you in assistance to your navigation and your awakening experience. Okay. There's a lot that is going on right now in terms of, everything is coming together to bring an essence of enlightenment on the planet in a whole. So there's a lot that's happening right now. And so not only just my illuminated breadcrumbs of how I understand my now moment, but there is a plethora of many other things that are actually commencing at this time. And if you are aware of these things, it's a beautiful day in Zamunda. I think that's wonderful. But by all means, no, we're not here to tell you what to do, though. Still, everything that you need is divinely within, and we are in full range awareness of that. So we're just here to give you guys something to think about, right? Just bringing you back that one step closer to the essence of the divine remembrance that is already within you. And any content creator, any celebrity, or anybody for that matter that I speak upon on this platform, all information is heavily, heavily alleged. For I was not there to, account or attest to the validity of what was said that has been placed out there for public consumption. If I am utilizing any information, it is only for something that I'm mentioning here to use as an example. But the validity of the story in itself, I don't know. I wasn't there, so it could be not. All right. I have no idea. I'm just utilizing it as an example to what I may be mentioning here. So anything other than that, it is heavily, heavily, heavily alleged. And last but not least, I move on the premise of divine unconditional love, because to judge you is to judge myself, right? There's no judgment here. And so that's pretty much it. It's divine unconditional love. So you're going to get pure tone over here in that regard, where there is not going to be any essence of distortion in the midst. We move from the essence of divine unconditional love. All right. All right. So now that I got that out of the way, all right, let's see what we got here. Okay. So as you can see, yesterday's title, I don't know if I can flip the board. Let me see if I can flip the board. I don't know if I can flip the board. See if it'll flip. Maybe it can. Can it? Can it? Oh, okay. I'm not gonna lock it, but well, maybe I should lock it. Okay. So this is what I started off with yesterday. That I was having some issues with the Instagram, but this is what I started off yesterday: quantum manifestation through neutrality, right? But it kind of parlayed itself in the more beginning stages of why manifestation happens for some and not others. So there is a more detailed sense of understanding about manifestation on a whole that many people should have a clear and concise understanding about, so that when they do go into, going into affirmations and different things, or trying to understand how manifestation actually goes, getting to the quantum aspect of the manifestation, I wanted to touch a little bit on just about your biology, because that's where we are right now in the essence. And a lot of things that we do right now is always from a biological perspective. But I wanted to give kind of a baseline sense of the biology perspective that kind of parlays and bridged into the quantum, because the quantum you, or the energetic you, is the true catalyst of what and how manifestation actually comes into commencement. But I wanted to give some sense of understanding in the best of my ability about the biology aspect of you, through the DNA coordinates within your DNA lineage, of what they call here in science the epigenetics. So originally, yesterday we were talking about the codex moment, which is a codex, a camera and your projection and different things of that nature. But that mostly goes into the quantum side of how you collapse a wave into a reality. But before I get into the quantum side of the understanding of it, I'm just going to start from the biology, the true essence of the double helix DNA strand of what we inherit in terms of our biology, our lineage, and different things of how we come into the incarnation, and why it's a little bit more difficult for others than it is for, for some that actually do the same things. Why some people can do affirmations and it appear that their affirmations is working for them, and you're doing the same affirmations and different things of that nature, and it's not working for you in the manner to which you would want to see the results. And it has a lot to do with how it's many different factors. So I wanted to kind of bring that to a sense of understanding where now we can all get to the same bridge, and before crossing over, so that way we can understand why everything is different for everybody. Is because of how your lineage is, the DNA of you, what you're bringing into the incarnation through the DNA, and what is expressed as a result of the DNA and different things of that nature when you come into the incarnation. Okay, so let's say, for instance, but before I get into this, I just want to put some seeds in your head. Let me go ahead and just mention this really quickly. From the quantum perspective, without the projectors, the light of the story dissolves, which means, you are the light, okay? You are the orchestrator. You are that creates the reality. And we're going to talk about neutrality and the emotional charge and your nervous system. But I'm going to go now back to the DNA of you, all right? I'm just figuring out that this board had the ability to do that, you guys. I'm learning as I go. Okay, I'm just figuring out. So now we're going to talk about the basics of the DNA of you, right? Your DNA. Okay. Let me see if you guys can see. All right. So your DNA, the DNA of you. Okay. All right. So the surface layers is like your affirmations, right? When you're doing your affirmations, you're saying the words and different things of that nature. Okay. Let's see if anybody's saying anything. Okay, no one's saying anything. All right, so the affirmations and different things of that nature, right? But then now you have the subconscious layer, which is your emotional signature. Okay. So where are you at in the emotional state of yourself? Okay. Where is your emotional state while you are, saying these words, right? Because the emotional state of you, right? The emotional signature of you is going to determine the energetic layer, which is the coherence. So once we get to this part, after we get through explaining all of this part and we get to the coherence part of it, then that's when it's going to bridge into the quantum side of how that coherence actually moves in the ability to be able to manifest once you begin to understand the biological you, okay, and why some beings biologically have the ability to manifest a lot faster than other beings, okay. And it does have a lot to do with what science call epigenetics, okay, your genetics coming into the incarnation. So to give you an example, you came into the incarnation, and let's say the mother and the father is experiencing the survival energy, right? The survival aspect of being. And so coming into in the experience within your fifth dimensional you have that imprint, all right, that could be the default imprint. So because that's coming in genetically, that is automatically could potentially be that is the default imprint, because that's the closest thing that's coming into the experience, is that of the survival template, right? So that means if your mother and your father is operating off a survival template and you're created, that's probably going to be the default template. But does that place you in an absolute that you're going to be on survival? Uh, no, it doesn't, unless you choose for it to be that default. And what happens in the essence of the forgotten self, we tend to stay in agreement to how the reality presents itself to us when we're growing up. You know what I'm saying? We tend to agree with what we are given more so than going within ourselves. So it end up being the default, application through epigenetics that we actually operate from, right? But what happens is what can change all of that is awareness when you become aware. Now, depending on how long you've been operating at that default expression on your biological DNA, is going to determine, how that coherence is going to commence itself. And that's where your nervous system comes into commencement. Because what happened on the biological side, before I actually get into the quantum side of how the quantum sees the expression, okay? I want people to understand the biological side of it, okay? So when you come into the experience and you have your parents, they're on the they're surviving, and you're seeing that they're going to work, and they're how you are learning is based on your environment, right? Your environment factors, belief systems, and different things. And most times, if you were created in survival energy, then that's what's in the home. Okay, and so therefore that's how the structure of your reality is going to now become energetically imprinted in the default aspect of the epigenetics of your DNA. So you're going to be going into that rotation of, how you're learning from your parents and different things of that nature, up until you get into, an aspect of yourself where you either find that value of how your parents or your environment or whatever it is that has cultivated you in that template to be true, or there has to be something that is within you that determines that this there's more to this than what I am experiencing. And then you begin to seek outside of the circumference of what you have been subjugated to in your experience. Okay. But it just depends on how long you've been in that momentum. Okay, that momentum is a determining factor in terms of how your nervous system is going to be able to process that shift that you are impending, if you are now beginning to seek outside of that to which your environment has been confirming and reaffirming all the time. Okay, so awareness is the key. Okay, so the surface layer, the words, when you get into the affirmation, and you're thinking that, okay, you're hearing, your awareness is coming into commencement, and somebody says that, oh, if you say this 20 times or 21 days or whatever the case may be, then something is supposed to change and something is supposed to happen, but it's not happening, right? First of all, what if you're in survival and you are still operating from a scarcity mindset or lack mentality, and you have the anxiety because it's not materializing fast enough, the materialization, right? The materialization of that is where now the quantum part comes into play as to why that it's not materializing. Okay. And I'm going to explain that quantum part as to why it's not materializing. Hi, Chris Star Music. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. I'm so divinely grateful to have you, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here, beautiful. Thank you for being here. So the quantum side of it is really why it's not collapsing. And that's why I say this is a Kodak moment, right? A Kodak moment. And I'm going to explain that. So, if you are on survival and you're looking for something to turn around really quickly, right? It's if you keep, trying to look at it and look at it and look at it, you keep hitting the reset button on it, because you are still operating from that survival energy, which interrupts the coherence of what it is that you're trying to affirm, to bring into the reality that you want to experience, right? So it's a quantum aspect of it, but then it's also a biology. Remember, everything has a beautiful dance. And once we begin to understand how all things are interconnected and has a harmonic flow, and how one thing kind of works with the next and creates the harmonic flow and orchestrates with each other, then that's when we'll begin to understand how to manifest our reality by understanding that who we are as creators through coherence and neutrality. And that's the gist of what it is that I'm here today to bring forth in my own way, of course, is manifestation through neutrality. But we first have to understand what that looks like, what that sound like, how to get there, and understand that yes, some beings are able to manifest, through affirmations and different things of that nature. If if they're moving from an energetic coherence that is uninterrupted, okay, uninterrupted. That means that they are letting the film develop, okay. And I'm going to explain that when I say let the film develop, because once you take a snapshot of what it is that you are affirming into your relative reality, right? You already brought it in. It's like putting the film in a dark room in a solution, right? If it becomes exposed to light prematurely because you are the light, then the development of what it captured in its entirety becomes premature. You don't see the full development or the wholeness of what you have frozen in time. So you have to give it time in order to, to develop. But when you are anxious and you're on survival mode and you need it to happen right now, your nervous system is what's screwing your affirmations up, okay? Right? Which falls back into your genetics and everything else, right? How you are, how you were cultivated into your experience and different things of that nature, how you're perceptualizing the reality. All of that comes into, how the experience is going to now manifest. The thing of it is that you are always manifesting, right? And if we understand that manifestation is about what is your chosen energy of coherence. So if your chosen energy of coherence is that, if you are coherent in the distortion energy or in the scarcity energy frequency of your coherent in the survival state, then that's why you are experiencing uh, what you are experiencing, because it is what you are energetically coherent in when you begin to understand yourself as energy. So you begin to, now that you're becoming aware of what it is that who you are, now you can start neutralizing things. And this is what my whole thing has been as of lately. These last, few videos has gotten some heat. If I have to say so myself, it's gotten some heat because, putting, when you're okay, so poles, right? Poles is like tug of war, positive and negative. You're going back and forth. You're going back and forth, right? So that it's just, like a ping pong. You just back and forth, poles against poles, negative and positive, negative and positive. That's what creates a polarity. So that's what your nervous system is operating from, that polarity. But now you have thrown another, you have created an energy field, right? By throwing neutrality in it. Okay. Now you're being neutral. And that is what allows you to somewhat exit the matrix, because now your essence of neutrality is the key factor of you navigating your own spaceship, your own reality. Because now the poles, that back and forth, you done stepped aside from the back and forth. You understand what I'm saying? You're going through that tug of war. So now it has a field of energy. You have just now created a field by allowing yourself to now become the neutral one in the experience. Okay. So when you step back in and you pull back your light off of experiences, now when you get into the state of awareness, because like I've said, there are beings that come in through the incarnation, through their genetics, and of course, like I said, the default genetics may be that to which how they were brought into the incarnation, and then the environment, is, if it's the same environment that they come into. Okay, so they're living that experience. Okay, but the environment, of course, can change that. You're not fixed. You're not fixed in that conditioning. However, being that if you did come in through that being your default, it is quickly, you probably would have to do a little bit more focusing on the reality that you want to experience and maintain, because that would probably be more your default expression within your biological DNA. Okay, so that's the key essential thing, that yes, you may come, so that's why I say a lot of beings that come in a more affluent um reality, right? That's where the rewrite starts to come into commencement into the biology, right? Because now the rewrite is now coming into the biology, where when the being is now created coming into the experience, this is what rewrites the biology by how the epigenetics is being written at the time of the experience. And then if they choose to have offsprings and children and different things of that nature, that is how the repositioning starts to commence for these particular types of energy experiences, now that is coded within the lineage, to be able to be expressed. And so this is how you begin to shift and change the lineage now, and begin to free the lineage in this particular way. Now the 12 stranded DNA, that's a whole nother different, it works in a dance with it too, but that's just like, that's part of like the major orchestration of everything that is connected to, once you get into the essence of understanding your DNA. Okay, then it goes into the grand orchestration, which is the divine 12 stranded DNA. So everything has its dance and has its energetic coherence and different things of that nature that kind of waltzes through the process of it all. But I just wanted to, the biggest thing is to get a sense of understanding, so that you could begin to work on yourself about your manifestations, and have a consistency of how you manifest from a biological level. And then the next part is going to be from the quantum side, because the quantum side is what really, once you can grasp the concept of the quantum side, that's when things really start changing, when you can get understanding from the quantum aspect. So, as I said, the surface layer is your words, right? You're affirming, okay? You're doing your affirmations, okay? You're trying to reprogram your subconscious mind, right? And you're doing your affirmation and everything. But if you're still living in an environment that is chaos and confusion, and you're still under the scarcity mindset, or the survival energy, then now you got to neutralize. Okay. And so how do you begin to neutralize? So now you got to step back. So now this is where now you have expanded your field of energy through neutralization. Okay. And even if you neutralize now, even if you neutralize, that's still not the you. So now you're cleaning, you're sifting the flour for the lumps. Okay, you're sifting the flour for the lumps. You're neutralizing it. So now those thoughts and those experiences that's coming into your reality, that's housing that survival energy, that's housing those experiences that offers that those survival energies, you're saying not my truth, or you're saying I no longer wish to recreate that reality that is old data from a reality that I no longer wish to recreate. You are saying whatever it is that comes to your mind to say, that you are not going to give light to those realities that were created in the 3D consciousness container. Okay, because now you're pulling through in neutrality, right? You're not saying that you don't want it to exist. You're just saying that I'm just withdrawing my light from this reality. The reality is still going to commence for those who want to still experience it. You're just withdrawing your light because now you are creating a field of neutrality. You're just silently saying to yourself, nobody ain't got to know. You ain't got to tell nobody. You're doing this for yourself so that your affirmations can start to have that coherence, that coherence that you need, that your nervous system is a critical part of in terms of making that, a flow, okay? That and to make that a flow, your nervous system is going to be a part of that, okay? So you're just trying, you ain't got to let nobody know. So when these things come into your mind, or these situations come into the mind, or you see something on the TV and it comes into your field, because remember, if you see it on the TV, right? If you see it on the TV and it comes into your field, it's still coming into your field of energy, saying, "Peekaboo, here I am." And then you can just at that time, you can say whatever mantra that you know to say that withdraws your light. Okay, I gave you a couple of them. Not my truth, or I no longer wish to create, generate this data for this timeline. I do not wish to generate this data for an outdated timeline, or recreate this data for an outdated timeline. Whatever it is that you need to say to withdraw your light. You can do this quietly amongst yourself, especially if you are doing affirmations. You're bringing things into the manifestation, and because we're always manifesting, but now you're going to now as an aware state, and you're shifting out of what your DNA template allows you to experience coming into the gate. Okay, now you're shifting out of that. So now, because now you are moving from a sense of awareness, you have expanded your field from pole to pole, from that duality pole to pole, and now you have expanded your field from, now you got a 3-point system. So instead of pole to pole, where you're going, uh you going, up, and then you going down, back and forth, back and forth. Now you have this, where you're here and those things are still going up and down, but you're here while this is still happening. Okay, I know you guys probably can't see it. Let me see if I can bring it down some. Okay, let me see. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so this is polarity. Okay, but when you now add that neutrality in it, you just added another line to the sacred geometry, and you've positioned yourself here. So now you're neutral. You're in a neutral space while the poles are still going. So now you have an opportunity from this observation of the polarity to say what it is that you want to be a part of and what you no longer want to be a part of. So this is what neutrality does. It expands the field, your energy field. It expands the energy field, expands. Now, this is the quantum side, but I just wanted to give you guys, somewhat. Now, this is you in the in the reality, deciding whether or not, just going along with the flow of positive and negative. So you're in the mix. This is you in the mix. You in the mix, right? From pole to pole, pole to pole. Okay. But now you expand your field from neutrality. You can get to observe, and you can pick, choose, and refuse now. Okay? Now you have the ability to pick, choose, and refuse. This is what neutrality does. So now once you get into that space of having this neutral space to observe, the polarity and what you want to be, you can quietly, you don't have to say nothing to nobody. You don't have to get into no no, diatribe with anybody about anything, or no argument about anything with anybody. You don't have to have no discussions, because it's about how you now want to create in your relative reality, to bring the relative, to bring the reality into fruition, to how it is that you want to experience your reality, because you are now ultimately the creator of your relative reality. Okay. Now I know this. How I want this to be clear and coded, because I'm not seeing. I see people coming on, but I don't see. I guess I can't see the comments. All right. So what this does, I guess, it allows me to see people come on, but it doesn't allow me to see the comments. All right. So let me try something else. Let me see this. Let me see. Let me see if this does. Hold on just a second. The only thing it doesn't allow is me to see the comments, so I noticed that. So let's do something really quickly. Oh, okay. Let's see what comes. Okay, there we go. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it said we're having trouble loading this live video. Please try again later. Okay, so yeah, so it doesn't let me see the comments. Once again, it doesn't let me see the comments. I thought by doing it the other way, I can see when people come in, but I can't see any comments. So I'm not gonna get into that technical difficulty like I did in the last video, because I spent like over 20 minutes in the last video. So I am live on YouTube. So if you guys have, for Instagram people, if you guys want to go over on YouTube, YouTube does allow commenting. And so if you have any comments that you want to, and plus it's really clear. It's really clear over on YouTube side too as well. I'm still going to leave the Instagram up, but it is giving me difficulty. It won't allow me to load the live. It did this yesterday. All right, so you can get the link to the YouTube channel at the top of the platform in my bio, and it'll take you straight to YouTube, so that you'll be able to comment, and then I can be able to read the comment and have an engagement with you guys. All right. But I'll leave the Instagram up. All right. All right. So when you get to the part of the expansion, placing yourself in the essence of neutrality, right? Bring it back down. Right. When you place yourself in the essence of neutrality, it expands your field energetically, because now you've just broadened your field, and now you've expanded the field, so that now you can now perceptualize better as to where you want to position yourself between these two poles, the negative and the positive, or the polarity that's going up and down, back and forth, up and down, back and forth. I'm doing a live. It's this. I got a pack. Oh, okay. Okay. Try not to make no noise. No, no. No, don't go that way. No, go ahead. Okay. So, sorry about that. My baby got a pack. We got a competition. All right. So, go ahead. So, with that being the case, now we're going to move into changing your nervous systems. Okay. Because that is the key essential thing in understanding this whole entire thing. So while you are shifting in the neutrality aspect of it, in the beauty about doing that is that that is actually helping your nervous system, because now you're no longer accepting of all of that polarized energy. Because remember, all of this is polarized energy right here. Okay. All of this is polarized energy. Okay. Right. But when you go into this space right here, you place yourself in this position to now. You know how when you double dutching, all right, and you know how you in a neutral space, right? And you doing one of like this and asking yourself like, what, where I wanna position myself in, in the pose, right? You pick choosing and you picking and choosing how you want to position yourself within the pose, right? So look at it from that perspective. You got two poles, but you expanded your field when you place yourself in neutrality. You just now added another line. I wish I had a way I could show you. You went from just having these two lines, right? And then now, when you decided to go magically deliciously, when you decided to expand your field with neutrality instead of just trying to, navigate through all this just polarity up and down, you added a third line to the line. The line just kind of automatically shift. You added a third line to it. Okay, right? You added a third line to it. So now you can observe, these two lines that are still moving, which are these two lines, but this is just showing now you've expanded your field by moving into the neutral space, like how I have it here. So now you're in the essence of observation. Okay. You now can move from that. I Cosmos, I can't, I'm in the same situation, Cos. So I'm telling everybody to go to YouTube so that I can see the comments, appropriately, because it won't let me live, it won't let me load the video. I'm in the same boat, but I'm not gonna waste no time today. No sorry, Bob. No sorry, Bob. Right? So but nevertheless, so now we know we can move into a neutral space. You can still be silent in the essence of you now pick, choosing, and refusing how you are moving through that polarity. Okay. Now you're choosing what essence of the polarity that you want to express from. Okay. What is your truth and what is no longer your truth? Okay. Now you're inadvertently taking away out that polarized energy. You're shifting out of that polarized energy. You're not in the middle of the polarity trying to direct traffic, trying to maneuver, trying to keep from getting hit by a car, right? Right? You don't put yourself in a safe place right here where now you can observe right there, like I say, double dutch, how you double dutch and how you want to step in, how you want to step in. Hey, cars on the YouTube side, welcome my brother. Cosmos has entered the building. Gratitude, my brother, on the YouTube side. I'm so grateful. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being and supporting the YouTube. I'm grateful. So instead of now you double dutching, you in that neutral corner, figuring it out, like how to get into the space energetically of what you are in agreement with, how you want to project your light to collapse it into your reality. So now your light, when you're looking at this field, when you're looking at now, let's look at it from a different perspective, right? Okay. So now that you are in a neutral space as an observer, right? And you want to collapse a wave, right? So now you got the polarized, you got the wave, right? Okay. All right. And here, this is you. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see it. And how you wanna, and where on this line, right? So this is let's say this is your I'm gonna say your let's see, let me change it. This is what you might want to call your south pole, and this is your north. Let me move this a little bit. And your north pole. And so let's position you here as the observer, right? And so now you got these waves, okay? Now you can observe the polarity, okay? Now you have the ability to observe the polarity and what point in these waves, this energy waves, right? Do you want your natural self, right? And experience that more resemble your natural self. If you shine the light on your natural self and that's your choice, then that's what you collapse into your reality. Now, the collapse now is the part that we have to kind of work on, because that's the part that is the most determining in terms of where you are at within your nervous system, which most of the time a lot of us is in survival, and we are anxious. We're in that anxious spot. We don't have the patience. We don't have the patience to wait, right? So this is where once you once you fixed yourself, so let's say you're now choosing from your natural self or your authentic self, because now you are realizing the poles, right? You're realizing the waves that you are collapsing your reality from, okay? Right? You're realizing, so from the observer, you could collapse reality from this wave, which is the inverted aspect, or this way, which is the natural you. Now, let me explain something about the natural you, or the authentic you, because I think a lot of times people get a misconception that you're supposed to be holier than thou and all this other kind of stuff. No, the authentic you have range, okay? It's your authentic you. If you get mad, hell, you get mad. But the difference is your coherence. When you have chosen a vibrational coherence, to that is more authentic. If your authenticity is in the higher octaves, right? Then yeah, you could get mad, and you probably have a position point where you collapse the reality on the poles into your reality because somebody pissed you off. But if your natural coherence is that of the higher self, it ain't gonna last long. Okay, but it's not to say that you're gonna be, you know, always happy go lucky all the damn time. No, you might have to cuss somebody out and be like, who's next, with a happy smile, happy, you just don't stay in the energy long when you are actually moving from your a higher coherence of energy. Okay, so this pole is still existing, and you may pull a few realities out of that mug every now and again, but the difference is that your coherence now has modified itself enough and become stable enough where you're more modulated into the higher octaves of the vibrational self, right? In the wholeness of you're here, and you just won't stay in that space for very long. Okay, you don't remain there and begin creating realities from this band wave, right? Collapsing realities from this energy band waves, because if you stay in that energy band wave, then you're going to start creating realities and experiences from that band wave of energy. But your natural self, your natural self is that of, okay, if somebody get me upset, I'm just going to be myself. You know what I'm saying? It's not going, sometimes your little halo might have to tip a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But you just, you shake your head, and after you done did what you did, you take your head and you straighten it back up, and then you go about your natural. You know what I'm saying? You go about your natural day, but you don't hold on to it. You don't hold on to the dissonance. You don't hold on to the distortion. You don't hold on to whatever it is. Being in a more coherent aspect of the higher vibrational self, you just don't, it don't last, it don't have anything to uh anchor onto, because you're moving from a higher coherence of a vibrational state once you get into the higher vibrational state. But if you're still kind of moderately in the survival energy, then yes, it has more to stick to. And so therefore, yes, you will still be creating realities in that energy until you start sifting out the realities that you no longer want to experience or give your light to. Now, what I'm going to say in layman terms, that I'm going to explain from a quantum perspective in the next live, is that once you have um, got the subconscious, the emotional signature into the neutrality aspect of it, where now you are shifting and you're pick choosing and refusing of your position point on how you want to express these polarized band waves, right, these band waves. Okay, once you've gotten that sense of understanding, in and out, like jump rope. Yes, like yes, that's what I was saying. Like you trying to position yourself and how you want what you want in these band waves. How do you, instead of pole to pole and you in the middle of it trying to dodge traffic and everything or whatever the case may be, you're like, no, man, it's a better way. I'm gonna create an expansive version and just move from an essence of neutrality and pick, choose, and refuse how I want to collapse the realities from these bandwidths, from the even, this is more of a distorted bandwidth, and this is more of a natural bandwidth, right? The polarity, okay? And so now you're drawing back your essence from that to which you're moving more to that to which is your authentic self. Okay, and so this is how you are now beginning to stabilize your nervous system. But what happens in the affirmation, this is what makes people a little bit different, is that Kodak moment, that Kodak moment. So as I was talking about yesterday, when you take a picture, and back in the days before we had instant Polaroids and different things of that nature, I get over it much quicker now. Yes, right, right, cause because now you are in a different energetic coherence where the density doesn't stick to you. You know what I'm saying? You're like, man, it ain't worth it. Like because you don't want to be in that space. So it just kind of sloughs itself off, right? But when you get now into the manifestation, for those who are struggling, they're wondering why some people are manifesting faster than each other. It could be it's a plethora of reasons, but what it all boils down to is getting yourself into a coherence to where that reality reside on the timeline, on the bandwidth that the reality reside. So if you are severely polarized, where everything is inverted, you gotta now start deleting some shit. You're gonna have to that's why you reposition yourself, put yourself in a neutral space, so now you can begin to take yourself out of that heaviness of the polarized you, because now you done expanded your field so that you can now become neutral, so that now you can pick, choose, and refuse instead of being in the middle of the road between the two poles trying to dodge traffic. As like, I don't want, I don't want this, dodging traffic. You understand what I'm saying? So now you just expanded your poles so that you can sit in the corner and you could position yourself where you want to jump in at. Like double dutch. Like, where you want to jump in at. Like, like where you want to jump in at, right? That's where you can position yourself. And so now the positioning though is where now you're shifting, you're choosing from which bandwidth. You're now choosing from which bandwidth that you want to express from through observation, and where from that bandwidth you want to now collapse a reality. So if you want the abundant state, well, you know that in the denser bandwidth, the fluid you do not exist in the denser bandwidth. So you're gonna have to collapse a lot of the density, the denser experience.
You can't. The thing of it is that it's a there. If the thing of it is that it's an experience that holds density, and if you need to make room so that you can begin to operate from the fluid side of self for what it is that you want to manifest, then you got to clean up. That's why the affirmations ain't working, because your nervous system, it's still like you got to cross this bridge too and get me coherent into the affirmations, the emotional signature, and that shit got to mesh and flush with your nervous system. So you got to start saying that's withdraw your light. Yeah, the Codex motor cars over here on YouTube talk about Codex, Codes. The Codex, aka KOD. How you spell Kodak? KODAK, Kodak moment. Yes. Okay. Right. So when you get to that aspect of understanding, right? So that these affirmations in these higher bandwidths of reality, because you're manifesting, you're just manifesting from this wave more so than this wave in the polarized you. So now, if you want to shift polarities and you want to manifest more from this wave than that wave, and collapse realities from this wave of energy than that wave of energy, then now you got to observe, and then you're gonna have to begin to close your eyes. Some of these dense ass realities, I don't care how real they are, but if that's not what you want, you got to say, I rescind my light from this reality, or I rescind my I no longer want to create this data from a timeline that I no longer want to experience. However you want to say it, rescind your damn light. It doesn't stop the band waves from flowing, because there are beings that are still operating from that. There are beings that are still operating from that bandwidth. You're just withdrawing your light, and you're moving from a place of neutrality, and you're now choosing to observe from the bandwidth of energy that you want to collapse into your reality. Now, when you start observing from that bandwidth of what you want to create in your reality, okay, and you done struck a pose, you done flash your lights, because what your light does, it illuminates it, it freezes it, and it collapses into your reality. So now it has to take shape and form, because now it done dropped, it done dropped it like it's hot, it's coming into your formation. But it has a period. It has to go through a period of darkness, like you planting a seed. Okay? It has to go through a period of darkness. Now, think about every time you observe something, you're flashing your lights on it. Okay, because you are the light that brings things into formation. You are the light. So if you don't collapse something into the reality from a higher vibrational timeline, you can't let your polarized self, through anxiety, have you keep looking at it to see if it's coming to fruition. This and that, because that's the anxiety you in the polarized version of you. That's what's going to freeze it and bring it back into the wave all over again. Okay? Because it's like looking at undeveloped film. Because what you just did is brought light back to something that you've now collapsed into your reality that needs time. What do they call it when the film needs time to develop? That needs time to develop, right? It has to develop in the darkness, right? In that solution, to bring it into full throttle of formation. So my suggestion is that if you then affirming whatever you affirming, continue to go on in your daily life, and don't constantly look at what you have already chosen the bandwidth in the polarity to collapse into your the wave that you collapse into your timeline. So if you wanna, if let's for instance say, I always talk about the bank account. So if your bank account ain't reflecting, don't keep constantly looking at the bank account, because every time you look at the bank account, you just flashed your light and took a picture of that negative, and you just froze it. So that negative, that light is saying, "Oh, that's this bandwidth. This is what I. This is what it is." You now just got to trust the process until everything starts to now organize itself and begin to organize the energy so that where it can now become the reality that you now want to experience. You just continue to go along with your daily, whatever you're doing, but do not take another snapshot with your life, because every time, if every time, because what when it starts to, when you'll know when the things start changing, because instead of you looking and seeking, it'll just start showing up. It'll start showing up in your reality. You won't have to seek it. It'll start showing up. And that $300, that $500, don't go look at your account, because you don't want to take another picture of your account only got 600. You went from $0 to $600, because that's not the snapshot you want to take a flash on. You just keep letting it pile up. Don't look. Just keep letting the money come in. Just keep letting it come in. Keep let what your business grow. Okay? Just don't get into that phase where you're getting anxiety about, oh, my numbers is not moving. Oh, my this is not moving. Oh, my YouTube is not growing. Oh, my this is not. No, just keep doing what you're doing. If a lot of times it's a hard pill to swallow sometimes, when from a metaphysical perspective, when you see things not going your way, it's hard to say it's because of you. You think it's everybody else. You think it's everybody else. Okay? Red room magic. Okay? You think it's everybody else. Okay? No, but this is the wave that you're collapsing realities from. It's because the energy you, right? Through epigenetics and everything else, the anxiety that comes along with how the reality has cultivated your understanding of it, energetically having you off operating from and dropping realities from this wavelength. And every now and again, you might have some realities that comes from this wavelength. But this is your primary coherence. So now you're trying to shift the coherence for this now to be your primary coherence. And you begin to drop realities from snapshot points from off of this bandwidth instead of that bandwidth. Okay? I hope I'm making sense, you guys. I'm trying to, keep it, where it could be understood in the best of ways. So when you do your affirmations, understand it's levels to it, okay? You got to really become in tune with yourself, right? And understand yourself. The self. The self. That's why I say this shit ain't about nobody else. This shit is not about nobody else. When you guys stop watching everybody else, when you point one finger, it's three fingers coming back at you, where it's emphasizing that this shit ain't about the person you pointing at. This shit is more about you. It's about you. And you don't have to go and be in a disagreement with the experience for those who are choosing the container of the third dimensional consciousness. It's not about you getting in a debate with someone that you obviously are now aware that they are still choosing that reality. You just got to know the damn reality that you have chosen. Okay, you ain't got to get, because when you get into a debate, that's just like you, Doc, being in the middle, being right back in the middle of these two bandwidths, ducking and dodging, ducking and dodging. What the hell you got to argue for? You ain't got shit to argue about. Just withdraw your energy, withdraw your light, withdraw your light. Stop freezing and collapsing from a bandwidth that you don't want to, because once your light shines on it, your attention, that's why they say your attention is the true currency. Because once your light hit that bandwidth at that energy coherence, that energy, right? And then you collapse that into your reality. Okay? Boom. Boom shakalaka. Okay? You just created a reality from this energy. You don't owe nobody no obligation, no conversation, no discussion. If you become aware that whatever they're saying, you are not in agreement with, or you not even agreement with, you just don't want to experience it anymore because of the energy that is involved with it. It's too this, it's too that, it's too violent, it's too, impoverished, or whatever the case may be. You sitting up here having a conversation with yourself, and when you hear the dynamics of the experience, and you're like, energetically, I don't want to be a part of this shit. But you ain't got to tell that to nobody, because when you start talking to somebody, now you have now chosen to be here, but you're still having a conversation with somebody that's here. So you're still creating. You might as well still be on that bandwidth, because now you're having a quantum entanglement, right? With an experience with somebody that you just sat up here and said that you ain't even feeling the experience anymore. Okay? You're not even feeling the experience. It's hot. Ow. Okay? You're not. It's hot in here. Okay? So when you get the gist of understanding that to who you are in your truth and in your authenticity, and you stick beside it, and you maintain the integrity of that to which who you are in truth. That now changes the dynamic of how you begin to collapse reality from what bandwidth of energy you are you are now creating energetically from. When you come out, cut the fan off because it's shaking the camera. Okay. Make it, yeah, the middle one. Okay. All right. So I wanted to give you guys, something to understand the affirmations, because it's more than just saying some damn words. It's a lot more intricate involved than just, it's more to it than just saying some words. Okay. I hope I'm okay on the okay, I'm okay on the YouTube side, right? It's more than just that. And when you begin to understand, you know, what that really truly entails, okay, it changes the dynamics of, let me see, it changes the dynamics of how you experience the reality, okay? It changes the dynamics of how you experience the reality. And I wanted you guys, like I said, many of us don't understand that we are energy first. Okay. So this is only going to be able to be conceptualized when you understand that you are energy first. And for those of you guys that are on YouTube, on Instagram, my apologies. I'm not able to see any comments because it's not allowing me to see any comments. So if you want to engage in comments, you may have to transition over to the YouTube side. But if you're fine with just being observant on the Instagram side, and you're okay and you don't have any comments, then this is why I'm leaving the Instagram up. Okay. I just want to let you know. But if you're saying something and I'm not responding because I'm using this StreamYard, um this is why I don't I'm not seeing it. Okay. Okay. All right. And even with YouTube sometimes it's a little bit slow, but and I noticed that sometimes I don't see the comments until after the video has posted. So my apologies in advance for that too as well. Okay. If I'm not responding to your comments, it's because I didn't see it at the time that the comment was made. And when the video comes up and I'm like, okay, well, I didn't see that comment. And I'm looking at the screen and it wasn't there when, and somebody has have made a comment. All right. All right. So um back to this at hand. So your affirmations, your whole mental and everything has to change to this wavelength because this is how you are creating. And you expand your field now when you put yourself in a position of neutralization. Okay, when you begin to neutralize. So when you become a person that's neutral, you expand, and now you are the observer. But the tricky thing about observing now is that when you see the two poles, what position are you or how are you collapsing the reality? Are you collapsing the reality here? Or are you collapsing the reality from this bandwidth? Which bandwidth of energy are you collapsing the reality from energetically? And this is why I'm giving you guys the visual so that you can see how the realities are actually created and why the affirmations, you know, don't all the time come in the way that you would like for them to come in, and you could do a whole lot of stuff and it doesn't work the way you want it to work because of how you have acclimated the energy and what you are what your dominant coherence is it defaulted to your original template of what you came in through your biological DNA, your biology DNA, or through awareness are you becoming more aware, and the awareness now is giving you more of a sense of understanding of how you can now maneuver between the two bandwidths of energy, the two poles, two energy poles. Okay. And the neutrality space allows you that opposite. Just think of, like I say, the easiest way to think about this between them two poles is double dutch. Just double dutching. You know what I'm saying? Between them two poles. Like where the pole, this bandwidth, bandwidth of energy. But the thing of it is this too. Where do I want to position myself coherently in coherence? The neutral you is what I said before, is what cleans it up. When you start pulling your light from experiences that you no longer wish to, and the best thing for you to do, you guys, in most my humblest of opinion, and I can't even believe I'm saying this myself, is to do it quietly. You ain't got to argue with nobody, because the only reason why I say quietly, because you don't want to get quantumly entangled, right, in a reality that with you're now in agreement with a oppositional reality that keeps you, now you ducking and dodging and you're in the middle of the street between the two energies. You understand what I'm saying? You sit in your little corner observing, and you're like, you know what I'm saying? You pick and choosing and refusing. Okay, you pick, choosing and refusing. Okay, you're now more in control of what you give. The true currency is that of your attention to, because the attention is that flash of light that freezes and crystallizes the shit and drops it and collapses it into your reality. What your flash of light energetically is capturing, where on the bandwidth, when you give, that's why I call it the Kodak moment. Because every time you flash your light, you done froze something into crystallization to collapse into your reality for you to experience. And now, if your coherent energy is that of survival, you're going to experience that flash in. Bye, baby. Give me a kiss. Mm. You're going to experience that flash in what you are energetically coherent in. And that's what frustrates you. Because you're gonna be like, man, why is not working for me? It's working for everybody. It's working for everybody because you just flashed it in the energy that you still operating from. That's what. Because everything, it's nothing wrong with you. Somebody gonna say, "Oh, these realities is real." Well, if you operating from really believing that these realities are real, then you ain't ready for this. This ain't your cup of tea. You might as well go on ahead and log off now, because you ain't gonna understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. Okay, this ain't gonna be your cup of tea for right now. You might come back to this video, sometime later, and then you'll understand, overstand. But when you start taking the wheel, okay, and and you realize that you got more control over this thing that you giving your credit to, then and only then you might decide to understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. Okay. But until then, I don't know what to tell you. Like I said, this is how I understand my now moment. Okay. I do my very best to bring it to a sense of understanding where everybody can have an opportunity to manifest the reality that they truly want in a way that they truly want to experience it. Okay. Instead of saying do affirmations, 21 days and this and that or whatever. And yes, it do work, but it only work for individuals depending on where they are at, what their epigenetics has afforded them in their reality, where their nervous system is at. There is variables, the determination within their quiet self, because somebody, you might see things, even if the person, you might say, came from a real deep, background, and you think, oh, they made it, but what energy did they make it in? They made it in the industry as a rapper and everything, but look at the industry. A lot of people that go into the industry in that same dirty energy, right? They get a 306. Well, y'all hear these contracts? They mimic the universe, so but they get a 360-degree contract. Okay, the masters, they don't get to keep their Listen, the energy, the bandwidth that you manifested that reality on is going to determine how you experience that reality, that intention. Yes, yes. And a lot of folks be like, why I gotta do this? Why I gotta do that? Oh, and then they sacrifice their essence because in their mind, they feel like they done got this far. But you got this far, and you can. But it's that energy is that energy, that dirty water. I call it that dirty water. I know people don't like it. I shouldn't call it that. I should not call it that, but I don't know what else to call it, y'all. That's what it is to me, that dirty water. I call it dirty water shit. I don't know. That's dirty water to me. You understand what I'm saying? Bathing in that dirty water. That's how I look at it, that dirty water. Right? Okay? So that's how I understand it. That's just how I understand it. Oh, I do see some comments on here. Somebody say yes. And God will say love and light. Okay. Ooh. I see some comments now. Okay. So Instagram, there's some comments going on now. I can see it. Okay. I'm so grateful. Y'all know when I do that. Y'all know what that means when I do that. It's a high frequency moment. All right. So in that respect, okay, emotionally charged, yes. Yes. Because now you okay, so when you got that deal, you got that 360 deal, you're like, this is our opportunity, this is the only chance I'm gonna get to be seen. You just that's that survival. You want to survive that moment to get to the next moment. This is this survival bandwidth of the polarity. It's getting you, it's getting you what you want, but how much of yourself do you have to sacrifice? How much of your light in the process of it you have to sacrifice? Okay. because the container is doing what it's supposed to do. The consciousness, the third density consciousness, is not good or bad. It's doing what it's supposed to. What it was created to do is doing what it's supposed to do until the experience itself dissolves that essence of the consciousness and experiencing consciousness in third density. Okay. Until the collective decide that it no longer wants to experience the human experience consciousness in third density, the consciousness is doing what it's supposed it's doing what it was created to do. So in the polarity of the third density self, what bandwidth of these polarized energies are you creating from? Are you creating from this bandwidth? Y'all know I'm about to say it again, but I ain't gonna say it again. I ain't gonna say it. Y'all know I was out. Just like I said, right. Mr. Orban gave me some fire. Key Cosmo say most yes. Right? This which one? Okay. It's not about perfection. It's about authenticity. Where does that authenticity reside energetically? Your authenticity is wherever your authenticity at. Like I say, your natural you is not, your natural you is it's not bad. It's not good. It's more energetically coherent in the higher octaves of being energetically. Okay. That's not a bad or good. It's about energy and where the energy reside in terms of the octaves of light. That's really the truth of it. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, in polarized world, you got good, you got bad, you got up, you got down, you got left, you got right. Which ain't nothing wrong with it. It is what it is. That's what we're experiencing. So now you know how to at least potentially organize your manifestation. Let me see if I got some notes here. Um, I do. Let's see that I can give you. I think I put something here. The um the idea is to minimize. You know how sometimes you want to sit in a quiet room and you just want some peace. That's what really going into neutrality does, is to minimize the chaos and the confusion that the third density consciousness creates. Okay. It gives you room to breathe. You just expanded your breathing capacity by going into the essence of neutrality. But I want to give you guys some definitions, right? Okay. So affirmations operate through repetition. Of course, we say it over and over again, and there is a formula that says that a reset of the subconscious is that you do it in 21 days. So, of course, how I understand it, for me to get more acclimated to that being more of a truth for me than not, I was like, okay, so if I at 21 days reduce, that's three. So basically, in order to get over a 3D inverted or dissonant or distorted or survival self, I have to do this for 21 days. So that puts me in, for whatever it is that I'm trying to reset my subconscious mind. This is what reset. That's the reset button for the 21 days. Is the reset of the third dimension, right? Third dimensional level of consciousness. If you want to reset something in your mind, so that's why you said it. You got to repeat it for 21 days, okay? Because 22 and 1 is 3. All right. The reset, the avatar, the complete reset of an avatar is 72 hours, right? Which is 3 days, right? 7 and 2 is 9. 9 is the essence of wholeness, completion, wholeness. So this is why they say to give yourself a complete reset of the avatar and reset in your body. This is why they say you must at least fast for 72 days, okay, to reset the body. Okay, so these are some of the things that you can now begin to implement into the essence of your manifestation. It's about getting the proper energetic tools and the knowing of the energetic tools, right? A lot of beings will give you business modules and different things of that nature and say, this is a business model, 360 deals. Yes, you remember that, King? 360 deals. Yeah, that's and they inverted it. They inverted the 360-degree U because of the energy that was being offered. That it was, that it was being offered in those 360-degree contracts for record deals, right? Because of the energy that it was being offered in. Okay, it's all about what the creational value of the energy that's creating the reality. It's the reality is either being created from this bandwidth or the reality is being created from that bandwidth of energy in the polarized third dimensional self. The fifth dimensional you is the neutralizer, the observer. Okay, how you flash in your life, where you want to land. Where do you want to land in the infinite potential of this bandwidth? Where do you want to land in the infinite potential of that bandwidth? Okay. And that's really, as about as simplified as I can make it. And as it becomes more simplified to me, y'all know I'm gonna share it with y'all. Y'all know I'm gonna share it with you. I'm gonna share it the best of my ability. And I'm sure that there are going to be other beings that may be able to give a better clarity than maybe the way that I'm putting it, and that's fine. You just add to it to build your repertoire of how the only my biggest thing is to get people on the map appropriately, where it doesn't look as polarized, where some people can do it and some people can't do it. It's only because we don't really know they're able to do it on a natural stance because probably how they're cultivated. But some of us need a little bit more work than others energetically. So I guess that's where I come in at for those who need a little bit more work, where those manifestation tools and those affirmations, because you're always manifesting. It's just what bandwidth are you dropping, are you observing, and you dropping into your reality? What bandwidth of energy are you manifesting from energetically? And that's the key thing that I wanted to place in a visual concept. So that if you visually see, then you can understand why it's okay to silently withdraw your light. You don't have to be in like no argument with nobody and saying this is what you supposed to do. They ain't supposed to do nothing but be the way that they are choosing to be. Their battle is not your battle, especially if you're trying to manifest a different reality than that to which you have been manifesting. You ain't trying to get into no entanglement with nobody, arguing with nobody, trying to prove a point. You ain't got nothing to prove to nobody but yourself, not even yourself. You just, it ain't nothing to prove. It's about what you choose. So if we thinking about a proof, it's about what you choose, okay? What you are choosing for yourself, okay? And you can just begin to choose from the reality from this bandwidth of your natural self, the authentic you, what is true to you, what it is that you, because that is what is going to now recalibrate you into your true coherence, so that you could begin to start pulling and freezing, okay, freezing experiences with your light, your attention from this bandwidth of energy. Kazi Kai said, I understand this. I like it when you understand it. I love it when you understand it, Kazi Kai. I love it when everybody understands it. Like I said, forgive me. Um, Okay, golden sugar. Hi, golden sugar. I'm glad. Oh, I love that. I'm glad I can see the comments here. I'm glad. Okay. This has been a day. I'm elated. I don't want to show too much excitement because I don't want nothing to go wrong. Okay. Okay. All right. So this is the this is just a this is pretty much like a prelude. I've been on here for an hour and a half. This is just pretty much a prelude. I'm going to go more deep into the quantum side, which is on the other side of this board. Um, but I kind of somewhat gave you guys an idea. But when I go into the other side of the board and do a live on the other side of the board, um, then what I've said here is going to now begin to make more sense from a quantum energetic perspective, right? But I wanted beings to begin to understand, their biological essence on how the energetic, what you're plugged into from a biological perspective, your epigenetics, epigenetics, your environment, your true DNA template, the two-stranded biological DNA template of what brought you into the experience in your fifth dimensional self. That if it wasn't immediately expressed, let's say if you were adopted, right? You had two parents that were in the survival state. They created you. That expression is in your DNA. Okay, you come into the incarnation, but let's say that you begin to um you were adopted or something into a more affluent um environment. So now that essence is now rearranging. Okay, so even though that survival template is going to be the default template, it still can have the ability to be overwritten or override by what is now being written the writ codes of the epigenetics. Okay, and this is how the expressions start to change. Okay, and allow beings to be that of where their nervous system is now. It's easier for the nervous system to allow them to become more vibrationally coherent because their rearing and their upbringing was not in survival. It was not in that as a survival frequency. Okay, so that's why I say there is different reasons why. A better translation. Yes. 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 Okay. So I hope that what I've said here brought some sense of clarity to the best of my ability to get people to understand that yes, there are so many different ways to say, oh, 21 days, and then your life will change your subconscious mind. And you go through them 21 days. Let's say you go through them 21 days faithfully, right? And you saying it every day faithfully. But in the midst of them 21 days, right? You still taking a snapshot with your light, bringing your attention to your account, seeing if your account changed, starting the process all over again because your anxiety from the survival state energy got you hooked on phonics. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when your 21 days is up and you don't see no change, you gonna be like, well, I did it for 21 days, but nobody told you you can't look back. You gotta keep looking ahead because you gotta give time for that film to develop. Once you drop it into that solution, you done took a snapshot out of it. Now you gotta drop it in that solution, and it gotta be in the dark room. And once it comes to light and it's fully developed, and it, you start seeing it come to you, not you chasing it. Because as long as you chasing it, you snapshotting it, you bringing your attention to it again. The chase is you snapshotting it in that energy, and that's what's collapsing it into your reality because you're the light. The light of you is what freezes it into and drops. It's like freeze, and then you know how something freeze, and then it freezes in midair, and then it drops into your reality. Your light just froze it in midair. That's how powerful your light is. Okay, ha, there it is. Now, what energy bandwidth did you snap that picture? Okay. Okay, I get it. See what I'm saying? Yes. What energy bandwidth did you snap that picture on? Did you snap that picture on anxiety? Now, 21 days, you doing your affirmation, but you steadily, your anxiety, your nervous system still got you checking this, still got you checking that for results, still got you checking this for results. And here you is, still taking pictures. Still taking pictures. Snap, snap, snap in the energy of anxiety. Where does anxiety reside? In that red bandwidth. And by the time you get to your 21 days, you like, well, I don't see no change. Cause you didn't trust the process. You kept looking back. You remember when what was that story? They say if you look back, you'll turn into. You got to let it develop, cause yes. Cause say good imagery. Yes, you got to let it develop. You remember when they say was it Lot? They told Lot wife not to look back at what it was. It's the city of Babylon or something was tumbling down. And they told Lot not to look back, otherwise she was going to turn into a pillar of salt or something like that. You don't look back. You keep going. Because when you start, just look at it from this perspective. If you don't drop something from a timeline of bandwidth that you know that it's coming from, okay, you have to trust the process because you're about the what is it called, the twin flame, the runner chaser. You ain't supposed to chase nothing. You'll start seeing it magnetize into your reality. Now the picture, when it started coming into your reality, now the picture is developing. Now the picture is coming into the light. Because you didn't do like Lot wife and turn around and look back. You kept on going, doing what you're doing, putting the energy, what you putting the energy into to ultimately change the reality, because now you're in the space of neutrality. You pick, choosing, and refusing energetically what it is that you want to experience and express so that you can maintain the energetic coherence to the reality of how you want to experience. And so you're trucking along. You're not looking back, because when the film is developed, you ain't got to chase shit. The film is now going to appear in your reality. That's how you know that the film done developed. Okay? Because now you can see it coming. Now, when you start seeing it coming, you be like, oh shit, the film developing. Now, don't turn on the light yet, because now the film probably ain't fully finished developing yet. Okay? Because remember, you can't turn on the light too soon, because then now you'll have an undeveloped picture. Okay? Right? So so don't look at that. Don't look at nothing yet. Just keep on keeping on. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on staying in the neutral space. Keep on pick, choosing, and refusing the reality that you want to experience and express. And just keep going and staying in that momentum of the coherence that you want to experience your reality in quietly, because you ain't trying to get into no long diatribe with nobody in no opposition about no reality that they can't see anyway, because they're choosing a different bandwidth to experience and express from. Now, I hope I made sense with that. I couldn't think of nothing else to use to give it give you guys a pictorial event of what that actually is. And that's why on the other live, I called it a codex moment, right? Right? Because you don't have to chase it. When the film start to develop, and you don't, just because you start seeing a little bit of it, you don't want to prematurely, like flash your light, and then like, oh shit, flash your light, and now you got to collapse the whole thing back until you got to start over again. Okay, because your attention is the true currency. Your light. Okay, you are the projector. Okay, you are the creator of your reality. All right, I don't know no other way to explain it. And eyes tied. Okay, eyes tied. And I don't never get to do my little notes, but let me see if I got anything in here. Okay, so all right, so from a I can read this. Everything is a wave first. I think I said that. Experience begins as infinite possibilities, right? From the wave that you guys showed you. So I pretty much said the same thing. But nevertheless, I'm going to end the live here, you guys. I hope that what I've said, allow you guys to have some sense of a baseline sense of understanding, and go look it up. One of the things that I love about being myself and being improv and being authentic is that I don't have a problem if something comes out to be different, or if I'm off by a fraction of a measure, or whatever the case may be. I don't have any problem, because my thing of it is this is how I understand my now moment, right? Um, and yes, there are other ways of how it's going to be explained, but the thing is, there are different octaves of light in terms of how this quantum aspect of self is also explained too. And this is where ultimately the issues have always been, is that the chaos and the confusion container make a lot of things complicated that could be simplified. So, in my translation of what has been made complicated, my goal is to make it more palatable, more digestible, and more simplified than that to which we've been, uh, you know, placed in the experience to experience uh in the past. Okay, so that's really truly my goal, right? So, but you can always check up on it. I guarantee you, it is my own way, but the sauce, the tone gonna get you where you need to be. And that's I always bank on my tone, right? It's the tone of what it is that I say in frequency, not always all the time that of the words. It is the tone. So the tone of what it is also too in what I say is what allows it to be that much more potent. Okay. All right. So I hope this, is a beginning, point of how you begin to now manifest the reality on the band wavelength that the infinite potentials of these two polarized these wavelengths, right? Now you know. And now you know what helps support your nervous system. Okay, is when now you are now picking and choosing that to which is more coherent to the reality that you want to experience, okay, energetically. And then now your nervous system is going to say, oh, they sticking beside it. They sticking beside it. They sticking with it. And your anxiety is not going to allow you to be, you're going to subside that anxiety, because you're not going to prematurely interrupt the development of that you wish to affirm on the bandwidth of energy that you have now collapsed into your reality. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you guys for being so patient with me. I think this live was way better than yesterday live. I don't know if I'm gonna still put that live up. I may not, but this one is much better, I think. So I'm definitely putting this live up. But thank you guys for being very patient. Thank you, Instagram. for being very patient, although it wasn't as much as engagement as I would have liked for it to be. But I'm grateful for everybody that was a part of this live. And thank you, YouTube. And for those who transitioned from Instagram and came over to YouTube, I am so grateful. Thank you, Golden Sugar. Thank you, beautiful. Oh, see, it is working. So, hey, sometimes it does, sometimes it don't, but I'll take it. Okay, I'll take it. Thank you so much. And thank you, YouTube, you guys, for rocking and rolling with me as usual. I'm so grateful, always and forever. My the three amigos is in the house in turns. Um of Mr. Overett and Kazi Kaz, myself. I got Golden Sugar here. I didn't see really too much of anybody else on the Instagram side, but Golden Sugar came into the midst. I'm so grateful. So a lot of my, definitely my core people, I'm grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, and everybody else that was a part of this experience with me, I'm so divinely grateful. And for the YouTube beings, gratitude. And if you like, please like, subscribe, and share this video, and put into the comments what you got out of this video. Yes, because yes. And speaking of which, before I go into the I have to, I just got to. Before I go into the end of leaving, how y'all feeling? Y'all ready for this Michael Jackson thing? Y'all know, I'm gonna go give you a different wig so I can, get my little curl in the middle and, do my little Michael Jackson. Y'all ready to go get the little Michael Jackson outfit and everything for this new Michael Jackson movie? I am so excited. I am so excited about this. We're gonna be talking about Michael Jackson and everything. Y'all go ahead and get y'all little outfits for y'all movie and everything. I wholeheartedly suggest, if you are a Michael Jackson fan, go ahead and get ready and get your moves and everything, and want to be starting something, get all that, get it together, because I'm quite sure people are already doing it now, and it's such a delight to see how this man's light, even with him not really still being here, but his energy was so luminous that this man has left. His star trail is as long as the Mississippi, probably longer than that. Okay, Kaz laughing at me. Yeah, his light is so luminous, like he's still, like, people, you should see the AI that like is creating him right now. Like, it is mad crazy, but I love the love that they're giving him and everything. So y'all get y'all Michael Jackson together. I'm finna buy me another wig, give me a little Michael Jackson wig, get my little outfit and everything, because I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm so excited. So I just wanted to put that out there. All right. All right. I love you guys immensely. Please like, subscribe, and share the video. And also put in the comment section what you learned from this video and what you're going to implement in your manifestation tools now that you got something a little bit different flavor to add to your repertoire. And that also goes to you guys too on Instagram. Please, put in a comment, share the live if you find this live valuable to someone that is also trying to figure out why their manifestations is not working how they would like for it to work, go ahead and share this live to them, and maybe this live can drop some gems into their repertoire of manifestation. And write in the comments how you feel about this live and what it is that you would do differently, that you understood about the way that this was laid out. Because my goal is to make, things a little bit more simpler than what has been made before, or to give more information than that to which have been given. It comes out April something, April 26th, I think. I think it's April 26th, but don't hold me to it. But I know it's April something, April something. I think it's April 26th if I'm not mistaken, but don't hold me to it. But I know it's in April though. It's in April. But I can't wait. I told my daughter, I'm like, I'm buying my stuff. I'll get my stuff now. Okay, because I know it probably ain't gonna be shit. This probably ain't nothing now, because I see people up. Well, no, they probably had that stuff from like costume, for their Halloween costumes and stuff like that. Which I never really got into the Halloween thing, so that's probably why I don't have no costumes and stuff like that. But I'm gonna get my outfit. I show zeals. All right, you guys. April 2026. Oh, it's April 2026. Oh, okay. I knew it was 26 in there. I said April 26. Okay. April 2026. I said April 26th, but it's April 2026. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. All right, you guys. I love you guys. Have an amazing remaining of your evening, and we shall do this again on the next go around. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you guys later. Later.